She cleaned the wrong room, got pregnant overnight. But what the president did next changed her forever. She never imagined one mistake could change her life forever. She was just a cleaner, working long night shifts in the grand presidential palace, often invisible to the world she served. That night was supposed to be like any other. Dust, mop, leave. But exhaustion and confusion led her into the wrong room. It was a high-security zone, one meant only for the president himself. As she opened the door, expecting a conference room, she froze. The opulence was unmistakable. This was his room. She panicked and turned to leave, but a strong voice behind her stopped her. He didn't yell. Instead, he invited her in, a half-smile playing on his lips, his expression unreadable. She should have run, apologized, begged for her job. But his presence was magnetic, commanding yet gentle. One thing led to another. A conversation, a drink, and a night that spiraled into something she neither expected nor resisted. It felt surreal, like a dream where her lowly existence had brushed against untouchable power. When she awoke, he was gone and the room was empty. She slipped out quietly, clutching her uniform and the pieces of her dignity. Weeks passed. He tried to forget. It was supposed to be a mistake, a lapse in judgment. But her body reminded her otherwise. Morning sickness struck, her appetite vanished, her periods stopped. The test confirmed what her pounding heart feared. She was pregnant, and the father was the president of the country. She laughed bitterly at the absurdity of her life. Cleaner. Pregnant by the most powerful man in the nation. Who would believe her? She didn't tell anyone. Not her co-workers, not her supervisor. She thought of quitting, disappearing. But she needed the job, the money, the shelter. Her belly began to swell quietly beneath her baggy clothes. Every night she cleaned the same palace floors, avoiding his gaze whenever he walked past, surrounded by guards, protocol, and authority. He hadn't spoken to her since. Had he forgotten her? Did that night mean nothing to him? But someone had noticed. A secret someone. A shadow within the walls of the palace. Anonymous notes began appearing in her locker. "Does he know?" one read. Another said, "You're not as invisible as you think." Fear gripped her. Was she being watched? Was her life in danger now? She debated fleeing again, but the baby kicked inside her, and she knew she couldn't run. Not anymore. One evening, she collapsed while scrubbing a staircase. Blood dripped between her legs. She was rushed to the clinic on the palace grounds. And that's where the secret couldn't hide anymore. Her pregnancy was confirmed by palace doctors. Word spread silently like fire. Rumors whispered through the corridors. The president's right-hand man summoned her. She sat trembling before a long table of men in suits. They questioned her, accused her, threatened her. Was this a setup? Did she have proof? She was humiliated, broken down, but refused to lie. She told them the truth, eyes brimming with tears, voice shaking. She never seduced anyone. She never blackmailed. It happened and she kept it quiet. They didn't believe her. She was suspended from duty. Sent away in the middle of the night with no warning, no job and no protection. Alone and pregnant, she found herself in a run-down apartment far from the capital. Her world crumbled, but her baby's heartbeat kept her alive. Each kick reminded her that she mattered, that something beautiful still lived within her, even if the world called her a liar. As months went by, she faced hunger, illness, and shame. Strangers mocked her. The media ran silent headlines hinting at palace scandals, never naming her, but she knew. Everyone whispered. The child in her womb wasn't just flesh and blood. It was scandal, betrayal, a ticking time bomb. Yet in her solitude, she found unexpected peace. She spoke to her unborn baby every night, promising protection, love, and a future, no matter what. Then one stormy night, as she returned from a free clinic appointment, a black car waited outside her building. 2 men in suits stepped out. She froze, her heart pounding. Was this the end? Had someone come to silence her forever? They handed her a sealed envelope and left without a word. Inside it was a letter, handwritten, presidential seal. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. The first line made her drop to her knees. "I never forgot that night. I've searched for you every day since." He knew. He remembered. And now he wanted her back. But why now? What changed? Was it guilt, love, or a hidden agenda? As lightning flashed outside, she stared at the letter, heart racing. And she realized her story wasn't over. The real battle was about to begin. She didn't sleep that night. The letter sat on the table like a living thing, heavy and silent. Her fingers had memorized every curve of the president's handwriting, but her heart didn't know what to believe. After months of silence, betrayal, and banishment, a single note wasn't enough to rebuild trust. Yet something inside her stirred. A quiet pull, not of love, but of unfinished pain, unanswered questions, and a desperate need for truth. The next morning the same car returned. This time she entered it without hesitation. She was taken to a private estate hidden deep in the hills, far from cameras and eyes. It was not the palace, but it was clear. The president had built this place for secrets. There he was, waiting by a firelit lounge, no cameras, no bodyguards, just him in silence. He looked older, wearier. The moment their eyes met, everything in her that was strong began to shake. He walked to her, reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I didn't want your apology," she said quietly. "I wanted acknowledgement. You left me." He nodded slowly, as if her words burned. "I was told you ran away. I thought you didn't want to be found." "By who?" she demanded. "Your people threw me out like trash." And then came the unraveling. He sat her down and told her everything. After that night, he did search, but internal forces within his own circle had buried every trace of her. A political scandal involving a cleaner would destroy his image, they said. So his advisors lied to him. Fabricated stories of her quitting, of her fleeing the country. He believed them, until a hidden surveillance footage surfaced weeks ago, showing her collapse, her pregnancy. It shattered the version of events he was told. That's when he began secretly searching again. She listened, heart pounding. Was he telling the truth? His eyes looked haunted, but her pain still throbbed louder. She asked the only question that mattered. "Do you want me back? Or are you just trying to fix your guilt?" He walked to her, knelt beside her, and gently placed a hand on her stomach. "I want to be there for both of you. Not out of guilt. Out of something I've never allowed myself to feel." Tears stung her eyes, but she didn't cry. Not yet. He brought her back to the palace. This time not as a cleaner but as someone quietly protected. No press, no public knowledge. Secret doctor visits, private security. He kept her hidden from the chaos of politics, but word leaked anyway. Whispers exploded into rumors. News stations speculated. A powerful man and his unknown mistress. She received threats. "Gold digger," they said. "Trap," they accused. The hate was relentless. But what shattered her most was when one of the president's trusted aides approached her privately and offered her money to leave. Suitcase full of cash. "He's just playing you," the man sneered. "You and your bastard are liabilities." She slapped the man and stormed back to the president. That was the night she screamed at him, sobbing, unleashing every ounce of bottled rage. She told him to choose, power or her. No more hiding. No more secrets. And for the first time in his life, the president walked into a press conference the next morning and announced to the world that he was expecting a child, with a woman he met in a moment of unexpected fate. The media erupted. Protests sparked. His political party panicked. But he didn't flinch. He stood beside her that night, hand in hers, ignoring every camera flash. But the backlash was severe. The parliament voted for a motion to question his conduct. He was advised to resign. There were assassination threats. His reputation crumbled. But he remained unwavering. Then tragedy struck. At 7 months pregnant, she was returning from a routine checkup when a car rammed into hers. Deliberate. Violent. Planned crash. She survived. Barely. Her baby's heartbeat faltered. The hospital turned into a war zone of monitors and 4 lines. The president didn't leave her side once. He held her hand while she lay unconscious, whispering promises she couldn't hear. Doctors said the baby might not make it. But miracles come from pain. After 3 days of fighting, her baby cried for the first time, a tiny sound that echoed like a scream of victory. She woke to that sound. The president placed the child in her arms, tears spilling freely for the first time in his life. It wasn't just a child. It was redemption. But the twist came weeks later, in the quiet of the nursery. The aide who once offered her hush money was arrested, caught leaking government secrets and orchestrating the crash. It was never about just hiding a scandal. It was about power, about silencing the president through manipulation. She realized then she wasn't the weakness everyone believed. She was the target because she was his strength. Months passed. The president did resign eventually, but not in disgrace. He gave one final speech, thanking the nation and stepping down with dignity. Then he turned his back on politics and chose fatherhood. Together they moved to a quiet seaside town, where no one called her a cleaner or a liar or a mistake. Now, she wakes each morning beside a man who no longer hides her. She feeds their baby in peace. And though scars remain, she no longer fears them. Because what started as an accidental night in the wrong room became the path that led her from the lowest floors of invisibility to the highest meaning of love, motherhood, and identity. Not because he saved her, but because she never stopped saving herself.